Been in quite a tight range over the last 24 hours, and we have noticed these altcoins have started to bleed out a little bit, putting us under a bit of pressure, but we have seen that some of them have now dropped onto support areas. So I'm asking myself, is this time to start looking for longs, or is there a massive trap coming here? What is the plan? So today we're going to be looking at RUNE. I'm looking at the meme coins, WIF, MYRO. We're looking at Solana. I'm looking at PYTH. I've got a story for you on that. We're checking in on my cash situation. I've got CFX. There's so much stuff. I've got Big Daddy in the back there, Bruce, with a trade potentially coming for us as well. So much to talk about, guys. Let's get right into this. So, banter bubbles. Let's take a look here. CFX has blown up. There's a little bit of news came out. So CFX was one of our trades that we were looking at for the Chinese New Year narrative. So it was one of the Chinese trades we were looking at, and they came today with a little surprise. And so CFX has now pumped into weekly resistance. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to take a look at that chart on the weekly, and we're going to figure out if that is still a trade we want to be a part of now. Then I do have a DYDX situation for you, and you can see RUNE has dumped as well. And I've got a nice weekly chart that I've prepped for you guys on RUNE with some news. But first, let's take a look at BTC. Let's see what the situation is here. And I'm going to show you guys my plan and how I'd like to see things playing out. So right now, if we look at BTC on the chart, again, it doesn't look that bad. Even though it's been feeling incredibly bad today, we can see we are still in a rising trend here on the 4 hour. So again, nothing to really get too stressed about, even though these altcoins have been bleeding on us. And it hasn't been a great feeling. So what am I looking for now? Well, again, we're in the same tight range that we were for the last couple of days. And this 43K level is becoming an issue for me. But what I want to note here, we've got a 236 fib. And this is also adding to the potential resistance. And when we start looking at areas of interest for BTC with regards to pumps and dumps and these type of things, I actually prefer something like a 382 and a 618 to get tested. So I'm looking at a couple of things right now, and let me show you plan number one. This is actually a bearish version for BTC right now. So if we do get some kind of pump here, and they send BTC up to this 44,400 level, this is actually a potentially bearish area for me, because this, for me, is a place where we're going to see a lot of guys jumping out here and potentially looking for short opportunities. And we know there's going to be some profit taking here because people have been sweating over the last couple of days. So this is, in fact, a bearish situation for me. If we do get some kind of BTC pump here, I'll tell you what a more bullish feeling is for me on BTC is if we start losing this trend. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty at all. But if we start losing this trend, I think we're going to move quite quickly down to around about this 39K level. And this could be our bullish zone where we will be looking for longs and then perhaps better levels on BTC. So what I'm talking about here is a potential long from the CME gap that we were talking about earlier this week. We got a CME gap in that 39K region, but anything from around 40,000 down to about 39, I think they might want to come and tap that area. But that's going to give us a potential bullish scenario for me that could take us up to much higher levels here and maybe retest this 46K that I'm looking at. So if we do get a short-term pump, what I want to say to you guys, if we things start moving now, be cautious. 44,400, we need to see what happens there. That's a TP zone for me. Any traders that are still in BTC, that is a potential TP zone. That's where you want to de-risk a little bit. And also maybe you want to look at those altcoins and see where you can de-risk some of those alts as well if we do pump into that area. So 44,400 is a level where we need to exercise caution. Obviously, the story can change if we break that area and that becomes support. Then we can start looking at things slightly differently. But for me, that is my plan. Shorts or exits from 44,400. If they want to dump us first, well, then we're looking at longs from that 39 to 40,000 region. And let me know in the chat as well what you guys are thinking here, and I have opened a poll in the meantime on in the chats there, so let me know. Take a look at that poll there. It's sitting in the top. Oh, it should be there. Looking for it right now. Okay, let me know in the poll what you guys are thinking. Basically, I want to know, are we 44K, are we 39K? And let's see what the sentiment is at the moment. Okay, let's see who else is in the chats here. We got some new names here. Boetiville is here. He says, please do ENS. Kisho's here. He's saying break the like button. He's feeling bullish. Cunning George says pump it, Dylan. Cunning George, are you long and strong here, or what are you doing here? Let us know in the chats. Dodo's here as well. Nice to see some new names in the chats, guys. Yeah, keep it coming in. Joanna says yes to CFX. Well, look, guys, that's been a lovely trade, that CFX. And, you know, perfect areas for us, banged into a weekly. And I've actually TP'd my CFX at that weekly, but we're going to talk more about that shortly. I did want to show you something else here, a little tweet from quite a well-respected trader, Peter Brandt, or quite a well-respected chartist. And he's giving us some bearish vibes here, or he's hinting at a couple of bearish vibes on BTC. He's telling us, well, he's basically saying we've got the oscillator trending down, and we've got the BTC price action trending up on the daily. And he's basically saying, does this mean anything? Thoughts, please. And, you know, for those of you that understand a bit of these charts and things, I would say he's basically trying to tell us there's a little bit of bearish divergence here on the daily, and maybe he's hinting at some lower levels. But it is something to note. We have seen that bearish divergence doesn't always play out, or bullish divergence doesn't always play out on its own, and sometimes these things take ages before there's massive moves. But it is something to note, and potentially tying into that theory yesterday with that golden cross on the weekly, and looking for a potential retracement to those weekly levels. So now we got a couple of guys jumping out here talking or throwing a bit of bearish vibes at us. Let's see what else is happening here. Blake's in Australia. Blake says good day from Australia. You have one of those hats with a corpse. Is it that bad? Do they do that in Australia, or is it just in the movies? Blake, let us know there what the story is there in Oz with the cork hats. I need to know. Dominance, guys. This is something else we need to talk about. So for those of you that don't know or are new here, we look at BTC dominance as a guide to what is happening to the market with these altcoins. We look at is Bitcoin getting favored, or the altcoins getting more favored or least favored? And you know, the altcoin market, we like to see dominance dumping, and that gives us a little bit of a boost on these altcoins. So we always want to see, for the altcoin traders, we want to see dominance coming down, and you know, that sort of unleashes things for us. And you can see this is a weekly chart, and if I zoom in a little bit, you can see these alts have been under pressure today, and you can see that with this little weekly candle that we've got pushing up. But what I can see here is this weekly candle right now is pushing into a 200-day MA. So this could be a potential rejection area here for dominance, and a potential rejection area for dominance when alts are sitting on support starts looking a little bit interesting, especially for the alt traders. And again, this doesn't mean now we sending things off to the moon, but what we're saying here is, if dominance rejects here at a resistance zone and alts are sitting on support, we've got a potential scenario here where we get a short-term bounce or short-term relief rally. And again, we don't know how big that's going to be. It could be 1 or 2% only. So let's keep our eyes on this now. Dominance pushing into the 200-day MA. Ideally, we want to see that, but that's a big move for these altcoins. So let's see how that's going to play out. Then the Dixie, guys, remember, again, the Dixie dollar strength. This is what we look at when the Dixie's pumping. Things like the S&P start dumping. They get put under pressure. There's people taking money off the market, sticking it back into the US dollar. So we like to track the Dixie to give us a guide as to what's happening out there in other markets, like the crypto markets and the S&P. So here we go. Here is the Dixie still looking quite strong, pushing higher. And my target for the Dixie is still the 382 area. So as long as it's pushing up, this should be putting pressure on the S&P. And as you guys know, I am short on the S&P currently. And if the Dixie does hit this 382 area, I'm going to be looking for a rejection there, and that should potentially then tie in with the S&P bouncing in those areas. And remember, gold traders and things like that, that could also give us some kind of opportunity to work with. So I'm going to be playing around with my Prime XBT account and getting ready for these things. This is the Prime XBT Global Markets account. So remember, they can let you trade futures on crypto, and we trade gold, we trade the S&P, oil, all those type of things here on Prime XBT. It's pretty simple. You just send some crypto through, and you can load up your account and you can get cracking. Right, let's look at Ethereum. I haven't given you guys this 3-day ETH view in quite a while. So I think it's important to come back and just zoom out a little bit. And, you know, as bearish as you might be feeling right now out there in the market. And, you know, I was saying to somebody today, it's basically on a lot of these altcoins, it's looked like a permanent downtrend from Christmas Day. basically on some of these things. So you can get a little bit bearish after 2 or 3 weeks of this type of bleed out. But bigger picture Ethereum, this is the 3-day chart. Again, nothing to worry about here really. So far so good on ETH, and this was my original plan when we put this one together. This was in that first week of January, and we were looking for that ETH pump, and we were looking for that ETH retracement, and maybe this is now the time where ETH is going to be teeing up. So again, I'm watching ETH on this bigger picture 3-day chart. Anything down to 2,400 to about 2,000, even 2,380 could be a nice little bounce zone on the 3-day chart. And then lower down, we've got the 50-day MA and 618 bringing up some support at the low 2,300. So yesterday we looked at the 4-hour chart on ETH, and we gave you those levels, and they're pretty much tying in here when we zoom out, and these are much bigger picture fib pools as well. So again, nothing to really be too stressed about on ETH until we start losing that 50-day MA at around 2,300. I wouldn't be too concerned with what's going on there with ETH. Ryan here in the chat, he says, bearish today, bullish tomorrow, then bearish the day after. Ryan, you know what, bro? We work with what's in front of us, okay? So, every day we get new data, we get new information, and again, we got to work with what we have in front of us. And right now we look at levels, we look at areas, we look at rejection zones, we look at bounce zones, and we try and put all this information together to try and give you guys an idea as to what we think is going on. So yeah, I mean, bullish yesterday. Well, yesterday I was long on a couple of altcoins, and I'm still long. Here's Solana, and again, no reason for me to dip out of this one until we start losing these areas. So for me, 95.8 is an area where I'm going to look to exit here on Sol. So this Sol trade is still in play for me. No changes here. So anyone who is long in Sol, these TPs, if we do get a bounce, 109, and the next area we're looking at about 115 to 116, and then the highs, if we get there, 123, 124, that sort of region. So let's see how we go. I mean, Mihai says he's sitting in Sol. Look, guys, there's a lot of people out there who are sitting in the Sol trade. It's an 8-hour trend break. It's looked like it's come back for a retest, and we'll see how we go. If BTC holds these areas, then maybe these alts are going to start moving again off these support areas, and if not, that's why we use stop losses, and then we plan appropriately, and we look at lower levels and areas like that where we can pick things up. So right now, again, Sol under pressure. Yes, we can see that, and these altcoins have been under pressure, but no reason yet for me to exit the Sol position. So let's see how that plays out. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Ian says he's also in a Sol long. Ian says Sol longs meme coins are doing well. Yes, a lot of Sol memes are doing well. But yeah, we saw BONK took a little bit of heat there, and BONK's been bleeding out, but the excitement has been with WIF, and it's been with MYRO, and the reason being is that they're getting listed on all these exchanges. It's the same old story, isn't it? All the hype, they get listed, they pump. By the time they're on Binance perpetuals and that sort of thing, then the shorts are open, and then these things start dumping. And I did see an interesting comment today, and I didn't get it for you, but the last time Cryptos Are Us, he put a BONK meme on his, or he put a BONK tile on his YouTube thumbnail for his show. And after that show, BONK dumped 75%. And somebody was saying today, well, he's now put a dog with hat on his show tile, and they're concerned that is potentially the top of this meme run. So just something interesting to note. And here's a little comment here from DGen News telling us that the meme coin WIF breaks into the top 5 meme coins by market cap. I mean, who would have thought, when we were talking about this thing a couple of, maybe 2 months ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, we were talking about this thing when it was just a tiny little meme coin that nobody gave a shit about. And look at this thing. It's $440 million market cap as we speak. So that is, that is really something. And here we are yesterday. So those of you who were interested or looking for shorts yesterday, I saw some of you guys in the comments telling me you wanted to short these things. This is MYRO. Okay, on the 4-hour. Now remember, both of these have been running together, MYRO and WIF, and this was a classic example that I was talking about. When you get these squeezes and things start moving up, look at this pump they gave us. They gave us that squeeze. Look how they sold it up quickly on the 4-hour. There was a big sell, and we said the buyers need to step in this area. Then we're going to know this trade is on, and here we go, and it's fired off. One more time, and we're off again. We're off to the races, and you know, at some point this thing comes to an end. So if you guys are still sitting in these tokens, I would definitely suggest taking some profits. I've closed my meme coin positions, well, these two meme coin positions. It just started to feel a little bit too hot for me, and you know, let's see how much more is in the tank. But at some point the hype dies down, just remember that. And you know, another 42% move, and if we take a look from when we gave the setup, it's been 140% in 2 days. So you know, at some point people are going to come and start taking profits. But if you are still interested in this trade, this is the 4 hour, and your major support again, 0.177. That is now your major support area that you want to watch, and this is on the 4 hour chart, so keep an eye on that. Again, scalpers and those type of things, if you're really trying to squeeze the last bit of blood out of this thing, you can go down to 15-minute charts and you can start playing this game, and you can play the trend break game. But remember, these meme coins can flush you out so quickly, and they can get dangerous. So these moves are huge, and again, stick to low leverage stuff, preferably no leverage, small position, big move things, and if you want to, you can try and play this game. So here's a little trend break on the 15 minutes right now for MYRO. If you want to take a look at that guy, you can see we've got some horizontal resistance that we need to try and deal with. And you know, once we pop this horizontal area, what we're going to do is we're going to look for a little rejection, most likely at the next horizontal there, and we're going to look for something along these lines, and then potentially bigger things coming. So again, this is a high risk scalp play, 15-minute stuff, small positions, big moves. Don't be crazy on this stuff if you really want to try it. Okay, let's look at WIF, the dog with a hat, and here it comes again. Yesterday, what did we say? Okay, major area here, we were looking for this move. What did they do? They sent it up, they've come back, okay, retested this horizontal, and typical altcoin move. So your area you want to watch now, your support that you guys are watching, 0.384. That is now a support zone that you need to keep an eye on. If you start losing that, it's a very simple scenario here. You've got your trend, you've got your rising trend. We are bullish as long as the trend, we got a rising trend, we can stay bullish, no reason to exit. But when you start losing a trend, then things potentially start turning bearish, and you often get a situation like this. You get a little horizontal rejection, a horizontal bounce, and then you're going to get something along these lines if things are going to turn a little bit south here. So again, main support for dog with hat, I still love saying that, 0.385, and keep your eyes on this trend. If we do get a bounce or some kind of bigger pullback, look for a bounce on that trend. But the minute we start losing that trend, then we are looking at a couple of bearish scenarios playing out here. Okay, Irene says she's in render. That's been a good trade. That render's been a decent mover. Yeah, Leroy says just trade spot on memes. No leverage is needed. 100% no leverage is needed. Let's see what else we got. Benoit asking for CFX. I've got you covered. We're going to bring that up shortly. Geez, I've got so much content again for you guys. Okay, so yeah, Ryan says Sol is crowded trade long. Yeah, Ryan, look, the more people that are popping up here on Twitter and all these types of things trying to climb into Sol, you know the reasons why. They were talking about the airdrop and the unlock of all the cash. And yes, I mean, once it becomes the most crowded trade in the room, then maybe it's not always the best trade in the room. But yeah, we are long Sol. We took that trade, and again, you know, we'll play these levels, and we're going to see how it goes. PJ Fox says AVAX disappoints. Yeah, AVAX has been an absolute, it's just a tight little range. It's actually been quite a letdown for us here. Okay, let's see what else we got. Let's go BONK. Again, topical meme coin. These were our options for BONK. So remember, the heat was on WIF and MYRO, and BONK's been completely neglected. So BONK traders, again, there's no guarantees here. We've got a downtrend and a bearish until it starts breaking this trend. So what I can give you, or what I can suggest to you guys, if you're looking for areas of interest for BONK, this is an area of interest. Okay, this is a typical 618. It's a horizontal, but we have lost the 50-day MA, so potentially a little bit more bearish now that we've lost the 50-day MA, because that should become a resistance area for us. So as you can see, this first arrow that I've drawn here for you guys, if we do get a bounce here, it looks like something that could potentially reject for us on the 50-day MA and the 382, and you know, that could be an indication that they're going to send us a little bit lower. And then the next hot zone that I have for BONK here on the 8 hour, we're looking at multiple zeros, So 101, 102, that sort of region. And you can see this was the original horizontal that we were playing at originally. So that is my next sort of bounce zone. So if we do get some kind of flush out, that is an area you want to look at. You can get a little scalp there, maybe a little bounce, and we'll see how that reacts. Let's see what else we got here. Christo says he's shorting Blur. Okay, that's pretty ballsy. I think Blur's been going nicely. I haven't looked at that chart in a couple of days. Rudy thinks BONK is going to explode. Well, look, as long as you're grabbing it on good areas, and if you guys are patient, again, you don't have to buy the horizontal. The horizontal is just a strategy I like to do, is buy on the horizontals. But again, when the market is feeling uneasy and you aren't sure, you can always jump onto momentum. And a momentum is when we start breaking these downtrends. So there's multiple ways to play it. And what I suggest, guys, when you have these situations, put an alarm on the downtrend. So if we do start breaking that downtrend, you're going to get pinged on your trading view, and you'll be notified that there's a potential trend break happening, and you can then start planning your life accordingly. Okay, here's something interesting I've got for you guys. There's a little bit of news on PYTH, and there's a lot of a couple of murmurs out there about PYTH introducing staking and all sorts of things and airdrops. And you know what's happened. I mean, it's been airdrop season for the last couple of months. You've seen Say, you've seen Sui, you've seen Injective, you've seen Celestia, you've seen all of these things pump. And maybe there's, something's going to play out with PYTH. So I thought, let's take a look at this PYTH today and just get our head around what's going on. If this is going to turn into a Celestia or Say or one of these that's just going to endlessly pump because everybody's trying to stake it, this is something you really want to be buying on a spot type basis. So what I've done is I've grabbed PYTH on spot, and I've started staking it. So you can stake it on their website. I think it was stake. Simon's going to have to tell us. Simon's here in the chat, so I'm hoping. So he's going to have to tell us. But guys, you can stake it. So you can send your PYTH to your Phantom wallet, and you're going to stake it at staking.pyth.network or one of these things. Simon, you better cover me in the chats here because I've forgotten what that thing was. So let me know. But I've now bought some PYTH, and I've staked it. And let's see. Look, currently levels-wise, this is PYTH on the 4-hour. And it is sitting at resistance. So traders out there that are looking for a trade, you are currently sitting in a resistance zone. But we know with these rumors now and the chatter about getting stuck into PYTH, there could be a little bit of pressure here on this uptrend. And we might get a situation where we get a little PYTH pop. Okay, so that is something you want to be looking out for now, especially with all this talk in the market at the moment. So you're going to watch that area. And then another region you're going to watch is just this horizontal over here. You want to see what type of reaction you get in that zone. Okay, so 0.398, that sort of area. You want to see what type of reaction you get there. But right now, PYTH at resistance, pushing the 50-day MA. So if we blow this 50-day MA, you want to see that 50-day MA become some support for us, and maybe just backed up by that little rising trend over there, and could give you something juicy here. So keep your eyes on this PYTH, and then lower down, if we get some kind of flush out, you're looking 0.316. 0.316. So that is a little hot zone for you. You can see we've got here 382, and I've got nice horizontals here. So a nice little juicy area here if we do get a flush out. Okay, let's see what else we got. We got you asking about Hex and Pulse X, and I mean, guys, is that still a thing? I thought that guy was in trouble and this project was done. So let me know what you guys are doing with this Pulse. If it's still a project here. I see it always pops up on these banter bubbles as well. Let's see what else we got. KVH says Filecoin is a perfect setup. So I'm going to try and remember to grab that one for you and take a look if it's a perfect setup. We'll see if we agree or not. What else we got? PJ Fox asking about Akash. Jorsi Moren is asking about Matic. Yeah, Ray was actually saying earlier there was some bullish divergence on Matic. So maybe we need to look at Matic and File. So let's look at the next one. Okay, so CFX. So this was our Chinese New Year trade that we've been playing for quite a while. And, coincidentally now, they've come out with this news, so it's pumped it even harder. Basically, well, it says they've announced plans to introduce an ETH-compatible Bitcoin Layer 2 solution. So the fundamental guys, you're probably jumping around, getting all excited. I mean, I don't even know what that shit means. All I know is I've got a weekly chart here that tells me CFX has pumped into a resistance zone, and we've had a banger long that's been running for quite a while. And look, there it goes. Okay, so it's absolutely firing. So CFX, the market clearly likes this news. And for those of you that have been around, we've been looking at the CFX trade from this area down here, from the 200-day MA. We've been watching this guy, and this was a nice little weekly support area that we've had our eyes on. And right now, CFX has blown through weekly resistance, and you can see this was tested in December. This was tested again beginning of January. They tested it, and now the third time they've knocked on that door 3 times, and bang, they are straight through. So what I'm going to say here, you're going to be watching support areas. These are big levels now you want to see hold. So if we do get these pullbacks, 0.22, that is a hot zone that you want to get holding as support. So you want CFX 0.22. If we do get a pullback, that is an area you want to see hold, and it's just a typical SR flip here. So we've got our horizontals, we want to break that, we want to pull back, and then I really like CFX for some bigger things. So eyes on CFX, but another 25% move for me potentially if we have a successful retest here at 0.22. So guys, in the chat, who actually got this? Who got this CFX? Tell me now. I need to know. You guys took my Chinese New Year trade. Let's see what Kenneth says ADA just shot off. Yeah, so things might be moving. Okay, let's go. XRP. It's a sympathy play, guys. XRP. I just thought for fun, let's talk about XRP, the shittest coin in shitcoin history. BlackRock, according to this tweet, has no plans for a spot XRP ETF. So I actually thought XRP price might be dumping, and I thought, well, the XRP fans here might want me to talk about XRP. So I just whipped out the old XRP weekly chart and thought, let's have a look. Let's see what's going on there, if there's anything interesting. And really, in true XRP style of late, nothing really interesting other than support. I can give you 0.547. That is your major weekly support area for XRP. So if you're looking for an XRP position, I actually thought that news was pretty bearish, but anyway, if you are looking for an XRP position here, you are on support 0.547. That is your weekly support region that you want to watch. You backed up by horizontal weeklies, you backed up by the 200-week MA, and that's an area you want to watch. And if we do get some kind of flush out, your next level that you're watching is 0.5. So these are your big XRP areas. XRP fans, are there any left in the chats? See, Mark Dutch is here. What's up, bro? Long Gong. Long Gong. Is that Long Gang or Long Gong? Up 20x on CFX. PJ says, Fox says, what is XRP? Don says, rest in peace, XRP. 𝗬𝗦𝗘𝗟𝗗𝗓 says it belongs in The Walking Dead. Guys, you know, it's XRP. It's just been around. It's not a vibe, you know. It's not a vibe. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Rudy saying Luba must be shorting something. Okay, so guys, I've got a little bit of RUNE for you. Okay, so some news came out on RUNE this morning. And, you know, reading this as a non-fundamental person, I thought, well, this actually doesn't sound too bad for RUNE. You know, the new proposal just dropped, RUNE, Vault, deposit RUNE, earn RUNE. It sounds like a great plan. And then you take a look at the RUNE chart, and they had something like a 10% dump this morning. And I'm assuming it's based on this news that's come out, because RUNE really started accelerating to the downside this morning, and we were watching it bleed out. So I thought, well, let me dust out my RUNE weekly chart and just try and get a picture as to what is going on here. And RUNE, I mean, if you guys remember that RUNE trade that we were involved in, when was this? This was in October. So this was, geez, the good old days, eh? October, November, when things were flying. And I mean, RUNE was just firing up. It was taking out this weekly candle. And, you know, it came and it did its job. It took out, it's wiped out these vertical candles, and now it's coming back for a typical retest. If this was a 15-minute candle, I'd say, guys, just wait for the horizontal, let it come back and retest. And this is us now sitting on the weekly. So what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at RUNE on a weekly chart here, and there's still a big move for me to come down. And the big area of support, of interest for RUNE, where we know the buyers are going to step in, 3.4 down to about 3, that for me is a hot RUNE zone. Until then, I'm looking at potentially just a lot of up down on RUNE. We might just get a situation like that. So we could get these moves. We could get bullish days or bullish few days where the market pumps 10 or 20% on RUNE, and you get those moves. But bigger picture, this weekly chart is starting to look a little bit depressing for RUNE. So again, hot zone for me, RUNE 3.4 down to about 3. That's where you want to be looking. And again, this is a weekly trend. So you can see this weekly trend that we have here. If we do at any point in time start breaking that weekly trend, we can always get involved. We'll look at new levels. We'll look at areas. But until then, bigger picture stuff for RUNE, I'd say net, we're going down. Okay, let's see. Kisho is saying Injective looks good. Yes, so Injective was the other project I wanted to speak to you about. And remember, there's a couple of things happening with Injective lately. Obviously, the one we know about, the staking and all that stuff. But the other one is there's an unlock coming, and I think it's now 2 days. We spoke about it the other day. It was 5 days away. So we are now 2 days away from an Injective unlock. Does that mean it's going to dump the price? Again, it's tricky to say, but we know that I think it was 3 to 4% of the Injective supply is coming onto the market, and it's something we need to understand. It's something we need to know about. So again, as levels traders and leverage traders, what I want to do here is just give you some areas of interest where we could see Injective drop, if it does drop, or if there's a flush out. Again, it might have nothing to do with the drop. If BTC comes to try and flush us out, we need to understand where our Injective areas are. But one thing we can see on Injective is once it dumps, it does recover quite quickly. You can see this little flush out we had on the 26th of December. We had a strong recovery. We had another flush out here started on the 2nd of January. We had a big recovery. We had another flush out here on the 6th of January, big recovery. And what is that telling us? So it tells us, we have a little sell-off there. We have a BTC flush, and Injective gives you a bounce trade that is generally quite strong. So something to watch. Last one there was 38%. Let's see what we got here. This was a smaller one. That was 13%. And this move that they gave us in the beginning of the month, 35%. And so what I would say here, and what you want to watch for, there's a couple of things. But if we're getting a flush out, if BTC wants to go and test that 39K level, you want to be looking at a couple of deeper levels on some of these altcoins. And Injective, one of the hot zones that I like here is this 29 to 30 region. So if we do get one of these quick flushes, that is where you want to have your limit orders sitting, waiting for something along these lines. That is potentially a hot bounce zone. You can see that last trigger that we had there, and you can see how it likes these horizontal areas. So 2 hot zones for me. Call it 28 to 29.5, that sort of region. And then you're looking at around about 34.7 down to about 33.9, that sort of level. So these are the 2 hot areas here for flush outs. And then with regards to where we are right now, you're going to see now as we go through a couple more of these altcoins, there's a lot of them sitting on these supports, whether it's a 382, whether it's a horizontal, whether it's a 618, whatever charts you're looking at right now, your own charts, you're going to see that they are sitting on supports. And this is where you guys need to make a decision now. And you need to decide, are you bearish on supports, or are you looking for scalp longs here on a potential bounce? And that's how you need to play. That's how you need to play the game. So again, I haven't exited my positions as of yet. I have even added. I opened an SNX long because it looked very similar to this. So I'm just going to show you this SNX chart. And again, it's just an absolute scalp play. It's not a big position, but we've got so many alts dropping down onto these horizontal areas, and they all look like this. And it's not no other reason other than just an example of buying a token on the horizontal and the 618 when we're feeling a little bit bearish. I took a little long on SNX, and my risk here is 1%. It was a tiny little position, and here we are. So this is what we're looking at. Your risk is loss of that candle, okay? But we've got so many alts looking the same way, and your upside, maybe a 5% move up to the range high. Next level, maybe the 200-day MA at 10%. But potentially, if these guys are going to bounce, these are the types of areas that you get these bounces. Okay, what else? Still getting asked for Matic. I haven't forgotten. Danny Hood says, is Phantom preparing for a big move? I saw there was a little bit of news on Phantom that should have been taking a little bit bullishly. That it had something to do with their stakers or their validators, but the minimum requirements had dropped, so they were expecting more Phantom to get taken off the market, but it didn't really affect the price, funnily enough. Let's see. SNT, we got Nakamoto. There's questions on Super. Okay, let's go. The DYDX update. Okay, so yesterday I went long on DYDX that I told you guys about, and my exit zone was loss of that 50-day MA, and yeah, it held. So far so good. So we do have a 12-hour trend break on DYDX. So if you are bullish on DYDX and you believe this market's not going to get flushed out, you want to do a simple exercise and just look for a couple of support zones for potential pullbacks. So I'm still long DYDX. Again, no reason for me to exit. I've got a trend break, and we are now playing with this area. What I'm going to do here is now give you some areas of interest and or support zones that you want to look out for. So the first thing you want to do, again, keep an eye on this 50-day MA. It gave us support yesterday. They sweated us onto that area. It held nicely, 2.95. That area held well for us. And then lower down, I've got a little bit of horizontal here, 2.87. So these are both areas where I'm not necessarily bearish. If we get a pullback to any of these regions here, on a 12-hour time frame, it doesn't look that bad to me. If we start getting a pullback to the 618 region, I would say, okay, a bounce on the 618 region is potentially going to take us to the dark place we don't really want to go to, but you might get something along those lines if this market's going to turn super bearish. So these are the areas I'm watching now for my DYDX position, and yeah, so far so good. Not going to lie, it did put me under a bit of pressure there, squeezing onto that 50-day MA yesterday though. Okay, let's see. Alexandra says he did 20% on CFX in 30 minutes. Well, yeah, I mean, I've got like a bit of FOMO now. I actually feel a bit like depressed because I closed my CFX at this weekly resistance, and now it looks like it wants to go some more. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, just your support that you need to watch here, guys. 0.22 on that CFX. Lizette said she got that CFX trade. Okay, that's a nice one. Let's see what else we got. Silly Dragon, Mighty Sarong says Silly Dragon. Is he talking about FUFU? Okay. Chinese narrative quickly. Before I go through my next one that I've got for you. Chinese narrative, ACH, FUFU, CFX. Let's see how FUFU is doing. Now, FUFU is an absolute meme coin. There's no actual utility here. Yeah, Chinese New Year play, risky play. It's a meme coin, and yeah, I mean, I've got a bag of the stuff. Let's see what the chart's telling us. Okay, so we have we have tried to move up a little bit here. Again, we identified this horizontal previously. Let's just neaten this one up. Okay, so FUFU, again, if you're interested in FUFU, you start losing 397, so multiple zeros, 397, that's an exit area. And then you lose these lows in the middle, 2840, that's another exit area. But what you can see here is we do have some horizontal support. So if FUFU is going to run, I'd say now's the time. It needs to start doing something. It's sitting here on this horizontal. So eyes on that support level, that could play out for you. And then your resistance that you need to watch is 58. So anything around 58, yeah, 0.00585, that sort of region, that's your first resistance. You break that, and then it's pretty clear. Your next target is 76, and then yeah, then the skies start opening, and you're gonna get some good moves there. Carlos says banters for president. Guys, quickly, I need some likage here. Ray, can we have an update? I'm not bringing on Bruce until they fire up these likes. Can you update me there, Ray? I've got the legend in the back. They must pay. They must pay for the legend. He doesn't wake up at 5 o'clock for nothing. He wakes up at 5 o'clock for likes and trades. Okay, there he is. Look, he's hiding there in the back, but I'm keeping him from you. Keeping him from you. Okay, fire up those likes.
We need about 150 more likes.
Okay, guys, you heard it from Ray. 150 likes, and I'm bringing on Bruce, and I know he's got a setup, and I know it's a banger, and it's a token that's pumped before, and you gotta pay for it, guys. It's the bottom line. You gotta pay for Bruce. That's how it works. Okay, next one. Just another topical situation here. I've got Trader Joe launching a phone. Okay. What the fuck are these guys doing? We saw Solana launch a phone. Okay, what did they do? They put a meme token on the phone. Now we got Trader Joe talking about launching a phone called Joan. Okay, cool. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look at, well, we know Trader Joe is an AVAX project. And what do they have on AVAX? What meme coins do they have on AVAX? And I think it's cock again. So that is a meme coin you want to look at. I took a quick look at that cock chart. It looks disgraceful. Actually, it looks like it's going to fall over. But this is Trader Joe. So those of you that are interested in Trader Joe, this is the weekly chart. Again, we're looking for some weekly hot zones. We're looking for some areas of interest, and it looks very much like that RUNE chart. You can see it's melting down into some weekly support. So what I'm going to say here for Trader Joe fans, if you're looking for some kind of entry on Trader Joe, I'd say be patient. So even if it pumps now a little bit, you're looking at a rejection in a weekly zone. And downside, you want to look at an area around about 0.44. That is a hot zone for me for Trader Joe. Nice weekly horizontals here, and the 618 and the 100-day MA. So that is a nice little solid zone for any Trader Joe fans. Okay, let's see. Ray, update there. What's the story?
We are 75 short. I don't know why.
Guys, 75. Let's go.
Can we long it hard?
Okay, 75 likes, guys. I'm pulling up Filecoin in the meantime. I promised you Filecoin. Okay, it seems to have vanished on my screen. Let's see if we can get it back. Okay, so yeah, so Filecoin, there was somebody in the comments, I didn't get the name. Areas of interest for Filecoin, well, it's hit my first hot zone. Okay, so the first hot zone is the 618 and horizontals. And you can see there's a nice little reaction so far on Filecoin. 5.7 is your current support that you want to watch. You can see this is nice. This is the 12-hour that I'm looking at the moment. And maybe a little trend here on Filecoin that you can play with. Okay, so there's a potential trend break happening here for Filecoin. What you can do is zoom in a little bit, and then you can see if you can take advantage of that. But yeah, support areas for Filecoin 5.7, and then lower down I've got a 786. I've got horizontals. I've got the 50-day MA offering you good support, 5.5. Okay, another hot area. Okay, I'm bringing in the legend. I mean, you see he's even got a cap.
And I'm wearing a hat because everybody's wearing a hat today.
Exactly.
Hat and hat.
That's how it works. Black shirts, hats. That's how we roll. That's how we roll.
I need one of your fluorescent Bitcoin posters behind me, but
yeah, we'll get you one.
That'll do.
Okay, talk to me. You got a setup for us.
I got an interesting one that I've been following for a while. I've already taken. I took a couple trades on it before, but it's Neutron, and this was introduced to us actually by one of the illustrious members of Sniper Club. Nice. And so, Elise, if you're listening, hi, thank you. So,
nice
yep. So we got it. Okay, good. So what I noticed about it is that it moves very well in two moves, I should say. Two moves have been very consistent. The first move was from nothing. It pumped up and consolidated right at the 382 fib level. Okay, you can see that right there. Pump up, 382, rejection right to there. All held it solid. And what I'm enjoying about this right now, the setup, is the fact I'm going to delete this so it's less crowded. Hang on. Is that it did it again. It pumped up from down here, pumped up, came back, and it's absolutely retesting that 382 level. Very clear, solid support. And what I love is when charts are really clear about resistance, support. Looks good, and it's right at support right now.
I like the look of that.
Yeah,
Good.
and this is a trade I am likely to take today.
So what is the entry there, just so they can hear the entry zone and your support zones? Just tell me
Yeah,
what it is.
so right now it's at about 1.3152. It might push down a little bit. I would put your stop underneath this wick right over there, just below that puppy over there. So we're looking at a stop of right about 1.246 or so. Would be pretty safe. It's a 5 or 6% stop, but in this case, this is one I would give it room to breathe. And then we're looking at if we TP just at the recent high, it's 26% at 1.65. Honestly, if this thing pumps, when it pumps, fingers crossed it's going to pump.
Yeah.
But when it does, I would expect this thing to make a new high, because this is we're now in a nosebleed area. But I would expect this.
And it's quite a simple play here. So your exit there is quite clear. So you lose that wick, you out, and then you've got another hot zone there. What moving average is that with the sniper zone there?
That is from this wick to the top, down to this wick too. But let me do this for a second, just for fun, to find out a potential target for this thing. Hang on. Let's throw in the extension. So 1618 puts it at 1.92.
Okay, the target. Okay, nice.
Yeah, that would be an early target. Maybe a little bit off the top at the break of the last high. Definitely 1.91, and who knows what it'll do after that.
Ian says, what's the entry zone? Just give him that number there.
Yeah, I'm looking at right about now, actually, 1.3051 is where it is right now, and I'd be perfectly happy with that. Just make sure your stop is down below that wick, because it might come test it again. Wouldn't be surprised with that. That's at about 1.24, 1.25.
Okay, and then back up lower down, you got the 50-day MA and the 618.
Yeah, and if we lose this, then we'll check it out at about 99 cents again.
Okay, Bruce, love it. Thank you. Guys, here's a Cass. I wanted to update you on Cass. So I took that I took that put option on Coincall. So those of you that don't know about Coincall, here it is. You can trade options, calls and puts and things like that. And when we took this option, this is for the 26th of January. So I was calling a bearish Cass situation. I was looking for a Cass close under about 0.09 was the area that I was looking at. And just an update on this guy. So if things turn bearish, you can see these levels here on Cass. They're pretty clear for us. And again, going level by level. So the current area we're looking at for Cass on any pullbacks here, 0.1, and we know it's held this area really nicely. It's been a strong zone for us, and almost you could actually call it a tight little range here in this little area here. If we do lose that range, we move into the next range. You can see what we have there. There's the high at 0.1, and here's our low, our range low, 0.08. So I'm looking for a move down into this region for Cass. So if we lose that area, that's going to tie in with that Coincall option. So if you guys are interested in those type of things, grab the link in the description for Coincall. There is a current offer from them at the moment that you can take advantage of. And Don Leon says, Bruce with cap. I think that's going to be our next meeting point.
With cap. With cap.
Okay, Bruce, thanks. Good luck out there in Sniper Club. Guys, we've run out of time again. Thank you for hanging out. You know the levels, you know the deal now. Okay, I've given you my BTC plan. These alts are going to tie in with BTC. If BTC is going to dump to that 39, well, we're going to get rinsed on these alts. Make sure you've identified your levels lower down and what you're looking at in case we do get a flush out. And right now, these alts are on support. So if BTC starts moving up, what you want to do, identify your resistance zones higher up and just look for TPs, look to de-risk where you can, and good luck out there. I'm not here tomorrow. I'm back on Monday. We'll see you then. If I can find my exit screen. Here it is. Okay, guys, later.